What if Mace Windu survived with aid from the dark side of the Force? A new Star Wars theory of a fan fiction right here on Dank Ferric. Before we begin, do remember to like the video if you enjoy the theory to help get the video on the up and up, or if you're new to the channel, subscribe for more regular Star Wars content right here on Dank Ferric. But without anything further, this is how Mace Windu survived his fall from Palpatine's office. Before we dive into this, let's look at one single fact, and then I'll go ahead and tell our version of the story and what could be. That one fact is that we've spoken about it here before. Mace Windu was known for being one of the only Jedi at the time, if not the only Jedi at the time, to use lightsaber Form 7, otherwise known as the Pod. This was a heavier, aggressive, and darker lightsaber form, one that required the user to tap into their darker emotions. And going forward, let's just say that Mace Windu was no stranger to Form 7 and what it entailed. Now, let's ask the question, how could Mace Windu have survived the fall from Palpatine's office? The beginning of the story goes as we know it. Mace Windu and 3 Jedi Masters marched to the office of the Supreme Chancellor after receiving a report from Anakin Skywalker that Palpatine was indeed the Sith Lord they were looking for, the Sith Lord known as Darth Sidious. Upon informing Palpatine that he was now under arrest, the fight would break out, and soon all of the Jedi in the room were dead, all but Mace Windu. Now, to keep up with the Dark Lord of the Sith, the Jedi Council member had to stand fast and tap into his darker thoughts and emotions, those the Jedi would usually keep quiet and sacred, repressed even. So this is when Mace Windu finally had Palpatine on his back, with lightsaber held high, and Anakin Skywalker would cut off his hand. This initially put Mace into a state of shock. He knew Anakin Skywalker had issues and that he was unsettled at times. However, he never expected betrayal from Skywalker. It would be that betrayal that kept Mace Windu alive. His years and years of training using the Vapod form and tapping into his darker thoughts to use it, the betrayal and the feelings it invokes, just all of it. Moving just moments into the future, we would find Mace Windu with residual force lightning dancing all over his body, his hand missing from his arm, all as he fell through the speeder traffic of Coruscant, the soon-to-be capital world of the Galactic Empire. The Jedi Master would hit speeders and floating advertisements on his way down to the streets, and this falling to the depths of the city world would also symbolize the falling of Mace Windu from light to darkness. It would be this betrayal by Anakin and his being so recently engaged with Form 7 that would open Mace up to survive these seemingly grave wounds and injuries. He would survive on anger. Anger for the fallen Jedi Knight who struck the first blow to aid in the fall of not only the Republic, but the Jedi Order. His hatred for Anakin Skywalker, now Darth Vader, and his immense treachery to the Jedi. And this would be how Mace Windu would survive. Just like Maul before him, he would live on not as a Jedi and certainly not as a Sith, but rather a man in tune with his darker drivings, a dark Jedi, if you will. This would push him to not only recover and fight against the Imperials, but perhaps even discover one day that Anakin is Vader, all to find him and hunt him down. Thanks for tuning in to Dank Ferric for this Star Wars fanfiction on how Mace Windu survived, or a theory on how he could have survived if Lucasfilm ever does decide to bring him back. Who knows though, we could be surprised, or Mace Windu could just stay dead, as we already know him to be. Go on down in the comments and tell me your thoughts. I want to look over them. Should Mace Windu live on in Star Wars? But until next time, this has been Dank Ferric, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.